Welcome to US-based news channel. Best Army of Drones for Ukraine has been created. Project, which was established in the summer months, gave results. More than 1,500 drones have been sent to the skies of Ukraine. Moreover, some of them have even begun to be used on the fronts. At the conference held in Kiev, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine Mikhailo Fedorov made important statements. Minister Fedorov, the best unmanned aerial vehicles were provided to Ukraine through the Army of Drones project launched by the United 24 platform. It also contributed to the promotion of the development of unmanned aerial vehicle manufacturers in Ukraine. At the same time, it has been reported that the contracts of approximately 1,600 unmanned aerial vehicles worth €3 billion have been completed. It was also announced that 83 Mavic, Mat-RICE and Ortal drones were immediately sent to the Bakhmut front. These aircraft will contribute greatly to the intense conflicts on this front. Moreover, it will become an advantage for the Ukrainian army in increased operations in the region. Ukraine's head of economy Yulia Svirodenko also made statements on this issue. Svirodenko stated that he aimed to encourage the manufacturers of unmanned aerial vehicles in the country in the field of development and to create the necessary conditions. He also stated that he is making efforts for the development of small producers and for the expansion of production of large producers. To remind you, this Army of Drones project was established on July 1, 2022 with the participation of the Ministry of Digital Transformation and the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. This move has been expected to yield results since it was announced. Announcement of unmanned aerial vehicles provided in the latest news has increased hope, especially for the Ukrainian army. As it is known, in these days when the violence of the war has increased considerably, all military equipment may be needed. This requires the necessary military equipment to arrive quickly and in the required quantity. In particular, unmanned aerial vehicles, such as long-range weapons, are of critical importance as they allow long-range attacks. At the same time, relations between countries have an important role in this regard. However, there is a great difference between the delivery stage of the supports provided from the countries and the ones produced in Ukraine. For this, it is much more important to increase these opportunities within the country, and continuing this will be an important advantage in the war. In Russia, this situation is quite problematic. As it is known, there is a Russia that does not have the support provided by the countries or the advantages in the military industry. Since the start of the war, Moscow has to deal with problems in many military fields every day due to the sanctions it has seen from many countries. Within the scope of these problems, both the necessary parts in the field of military industry cannot be reached and it is difficult to replace the declining military resources with new ones. Troubles in this industry can include damaged equipment and even newly produced ones. During these production and repair processes, if the necessary parts cannot be reached, disruptions occur in production. Moreover, many Russian military equipment continues to be destroyed on the territory of Ukraine with each passing day. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine continued to announce the losses of the Russian forces. It will be almost a year in the war, but the losses continue to increase for both countries. This time, the Ukrainian forces destroyed 1 air defense system, 12 tanks, 21 armored combat vehicles, 5 artillery systems, 1 multiple launch rocket system, 24 vehicles and tankers of the Russian troops. At the same time, 790 soldiers of the Russian forces were neutralized on the territory of Ukraine, and the number of soldiers neutralized since the start of the war in February has reached approximately 117,000. Moreover, unless these losses are compensated, bigger military problems begin to erupt. Russia, which could not achieve the success it expected on land and in the air, may shift to naval operations at any time due to the serious losses it suffers every day. We can say that there are signals for this. Russia has deployed new ships to the Black Sea. The Ukrainian Navy said in a statement that the Russian Federation deployed 17 Russian warships, including 6 Kalibr cruise missile carriers, to the Black Sea during the day. It has been announced that the firing capacity of these 6 missile carriers is approximately 30 missiles. It was also stated that Russia has 11 more ships on combat duty, 9 in the Mediterranean and 2 in the Azov Sea. As we mentioned in our previous video, Russia deployed Kalibr cruise missile ships to the Black Sea on January 14 for the first time after the New Year, and on the same day, Russian forces launched a large-scale missile attack on Ukrainian territory. Russia may have these ships in preparation for the next major missile attack. Russia has intensified its missile strikes over the past few months as it has failed in its ground operation. This situation seems to continue until Russia's missiles are exhausted. Moreover, it seems that the stock of missiles is quite limited. In this case, attacks will be limited. In addition, many of these missiles are known to be quite expensive. For this reason, the failure of the attacks has a bad effect on the Russian economy. On the other hand, it was reported that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had a telephone conversation with Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin. As part of this meeting, Erdogan once again offered to mediate between Ukraine and Russia. Although the leader of Turkey makes this offer in every meeting, the countries do not seem ready for it yet. It is also known that Erdogan is one of the few world leaders who get along well with the leaders of both countries. For this reason, Turkey was one of the partner countries in the Grain Corridor initiative, which was carried out with the participation of the European Union between the two countries. In fact, when this agreement was signed with Russia and Ukraine in the inspection center established in Istanbul, an inspector from Turkey and the European Union were each. In this phone call by the leader of Turkey with Putin, it was announced that the grain corridor and the project of sending Russian grain milled in Turkey to African countries were also discussed. In addition, in the statements made by Russia, it was stated that the implementation of the grain agreement, the supply of Russian gas and the establishment of a gas center were discussed. Turkey did not choose to impose sanctions on Russia because it was close with Russia and made mediation offers. Such developments are of great importance for countries. For this, the steps taken regarding the war and all the decisions taken through relations between countries have become much more critical. Now, each move has become more important than the previous one. In the long term, in increasing mutual attacks on the fronts, the strategic direction of the moves and the correct use of ammunition will determine the fate of the war on behalf of the countries. In these days when the violence of the war has increased considerably, the steps to be taken by the countries and all the decisions to be made have become a matter of curiosity. Especially for Russia, there is no longer any margin for error. Otherwise, it will not be possible to compensate for the losses. For these reasons, the tension in Moscow is increasing day by day. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.